You can lose money in Google Ads even when your campaign looks busy and active every day. Search feels precise, but a few hidden settings can turn buyer intent into expensive noise before you notice the leak, especially across locations, match types, and weak conversion tracking. That is what makes search campaigns tricky for beginners and even experienced operators. Because someone types a query, you assume the click is qualified. But Google is matching patterns of intent, not reading your mind, and that gap is where budget disappears, sometimes across hundreds of clicks in a single week. If you run ads for leads, wasted clicks mean fewer calls, quotes, and booked appointments. If you sell products, wasted clicks mean thinner margins and more pressure on average order value. Search is not just traffic buying. It is decision buying, and bad decisions cost more than low volume, especially in competitive categories like legal, dental, or SaaS. A search campaign is your way of entering Google's auction when a user types something related to your offer or problem space. You choose keywords, ads, budget, locations, and bidding rules. Google decides whether your ad appears and how high, based on signals like relevance, bid strength, competition, and expected performance. Here is the clean distinction most marketers miss when comparing channels. Social ads interrupt attention inside feeds, stories, and scrolling sessions. Search ads answer intent after a user asks a direct question. On social, you create demand. On search, you capture existing demand. That difference changes targeting, creative, landing page expectations, and how quickly clicks can turn into revenue. So if search captures intent, why do good businesses still burn budget month after month? Usually because they misunderstand how keywords trigger ads, how match types expand reach beyond the obvious, and how weak tracking teaches the system the wrong lesson, then automation scales that mistake faster. A keyword is not a guarantee that only one exact search will trigger your ad every time. It is closer to an instruction you give Google about what kinds of searches you want to enter. The wording matters, but the match type matters just as much, because a keyword can expand into nearby meanings, variants, and assumptions. Think of match types as the width of your fishing net in a moving market. Broad reaches widely and explores. Phrase keeps the meaning tighter and usually cleaner. Exact is the most controlled, but still not literally exact in the old rigid sense, so none of the three should be trusted blindly. Broad match can find valuable searches you did not predict, which is the upside many advanced advertisers like. But it can also match to adjacent meanings, research queries, student searches, and low buying intent. Without strong negatives and tracking, broad becomes a budget vacuum, especially in niches where one click can cost $20 or $30. Exact match sounds like perfect control, but Google now includes close variants and similar intent in practice. That means exact is your tightest steering wheel, not a locked gate. You still need to inspect the real searches coming through, because even small wording shifts can change whether someone wants to buy or just compare. That brings you to the search terms report, which is where campaigns stop being theoretical. Keywords are what you target. Search terms are what users actually type. The gap between those two lists is where you find wasted spend, hidden winners, and the truth about intent, often within the first 50 to 100 clicks. Do not judge a search campaign by clicks alone, even if the dashboard makes that tempting. You need to read for signals together, because one metric without context can lie to you. A high CTR with weak CVR, for example, can mean curiosity instead of qualified demand. Negative keywords tell Google where not to spend, which is often just as important as where to spend. If you sell premium services, you may exclude cheap, free, jobs, training, or DIY. This single habit often improves efficiency faster than rewriting ads for the 5th time, because it removes bad fit traffic at the source. Campaign structure is just organization, but organization shapes relevance more than most beginners expect. When you group keywords by intent instead of dumping everything together, your ads match searches better, your landing pages align better, and your reporting becomes easier to trust, compare, and improve over time. A common beginner mistake is building ad groups around internal categories instead of search intent and customer language. Your customer does not think in your spreadsheet language. They search by problem, urgency, brand, comparison, price, or solution. Someone types best emergency plumber, not whatever your internal service taxonomy says. The best search campaigns do not chase every click or every impression available. They earn the right click by making the path from search to ad to landing page feel like one continuous answer, with no awkward jumps in message, offer, or trust. If someone searches emergency dentist near me and your ad reads quality family dental solutions, the mismatch lowers trust before the click. Good search copy mirrors the query, names the offer, and gives a reason to choose you now. Specificity usually beats vague branding, especially when urgency is high and options are many. The click is not the win, no matter how satisfying the dashboard spike looks. The landing page is where intent either continues or collapses. If your ad promises fast quotes and your page is slow, vague, or crowded, the campaign pays for interest that never becomes action, call, form fill, or sale. Quality score is Google's rough diagnostic on relevance, not a trophy to frame on the wall. It looks at expected click-through rate, ad relevance, and landing page experience. It is not a KPI to worship, but it often reveals where your campaign feels disconnected to the user, like weak copy, slow pages, or mismatched intent. A $5 click is cheap if it leads to a $500 customer with repeat purchases. A $1 click is expensive if it never converts or only attracts bad leads. Cost per click matters, but cost per acquisition decides whether the machine is healthy, profitable, and worth scaling beyond a test budget. Manual bidding gives you direct control over bids, which is useful when data is thin or volatile. Automated bidding uses machine learning to optimize toward a goal, but only if your conversion tracking is accurate and your account has enough signal. Otherwise, the system can confidently amplify weak assumptions. When advertisers say automation does not work, the problem is often bad inputs rather than bad software. If your account counts page views, low-quality form fills, or duplicate actions as conversions, the algorithm optimizes for noise with impressive confidence. It is like giving a GPS the wrong destination and blaming the car. A conversion is the business action you care about, like a purchase, qualified lead, booked call, or submitted form. If that tracking is weak, every optimization decision after it becomes less trustworthy, even if the dashboard looks polished. Clean tracking turns ad data into operating data instead of decorative reporting. More data is not always better data, despite what platform representatives and dashboards imply. Search campaigns improve when the signal matches real business value, not when the platform simply records more events. 10 qualified leads beat 100 accidental micro-conversions every single time. Beginners often ignore where and when ads serve, then wonder why spend feels slippery. But if your service only covers part of a city or your team only answers leads during business hours, loose settings create hidden waste that no clever headline can fix. A plumber in 3 zip codes should not buy clicks statewide. A mobile search on a crowded train can behave differently from a desktop search at work or home. Calls, forms, page speed, and user patience all shift by device. If performance splits sharply, your campaign should acknowledge that reality, because mobile urgency and desktop research often produce different conversion paths. Here is the twist that catches people after they spend enough to notice patterns. Search feels like direct demand capture, but many queries are messy. Users compare, browse, learn, and hesitate. Intent exists on a spectrum, so your campaign needs filters, not just optimism, because not every searcher is ready for checkout or contact. That answers the earlier question about why good businesses still waste money in search. They assume search intent is clean and self-explanatory. It is not. The account must separate buyers from browsers through structure, negatives, copy, and measurement. Otherwise, decent businesses fund curiosity while thinking they are buying demand. Another counterintuitive point: adding more keywords does not automatically create more profitable reach or better scale. Sometimes growth comes from cutting weak traffic, improving conversion rates, and letting the same budget concentrate on stronger searches. Less coverage can produce more profit when intent quality rises and waste falls. Budget control is not simply lowering your daily cap and hoping efficiency appears by magic. Real control means deciding which intent deserves your money, which searches get excluded, and which signals guide bidding. Control is strategic, not just financial restraint, and strategy usually beats blunt cost cutting over any quarter. If you want a usable checklist, start here instead of chasing trendy hacks. These 3 habits prevent a huge share of beginner waste before you touch advanced automation or scaling tactics. They are simple, repeatable, and usually more valuable than constant account tinkering. Your first action is to tighten intent so the account stops guessing too much. Use smaller, clearer ad groups. Write ads that reflect the query language. Send each click to a page that completes the promise. Relevance lowers friction, and lower friction improves conversion odds, especially on expensive terms. Your second action is protection, because good targeting still leaks without maintenance. Audit search terms, expand negative lists, check locations, check schedules, and watch device splits. These are not glamorous tasks, but they are where disciplined advertisers quietly outperform louder competitors, often by protecting the same budget others waste. Your third action is measurement, and it usually deserves attention before bid experiments. Before changing bids every day, make sure conversions reflect actual business value. Better data creates better bidding decisions, better reporting, and better patience when short-term noise tries to spook you, mislead you, or trigger overreactions. Search campaigns work best when intent is clear, structure is clean, and tracking is honest. If those 3 pieces are weak, more spend usually magnifies confusion instead of improving results. Spend smarter. Cut waste, read the signals, and let intent lead